This is my presentation from my game called CyberX Racing, which is going to be a pod racing game where where we will be training AI to that you will compete against. That the skill rating will get better and better depending on the player's personal best time, or essentially their skill level. So the complete tasks so far are the main menus, the pod racing movement, the pod racing boosting, the game functionality, game assets and environment. As you can see from the pictures above, you can see the main menu has very basic assets in there, and also on the right you can see the environment, which does need some more buildings and things to be added to it. So next we have our stakeholders. For the stakeholders, the main stakeholders in the project are me as a developer, the player, the university supervisor, the community, and any potential investors. Yes. And with every stakeholder, they all play a role in testing, feedback, and evaluating the game's success, or this project's success. And then when it comes to the next slide, we have the requirements list, which includes both functional and non-functional. So as you can see from the list, we have the non-functional on the left and on the right, the non-functional. So for the non-functional, our main requirements are having the difficulty scalability for the AI, so that the player's skill level, the AI opponent should be adjusted based on the skill level of the player, which will be used by having the personal best timers as seen in the demo. This is one of the mandatory ones that I need to have. Then we also have the user experience, which is having initiative controls, and yeah, that is also a mandatory one that I need to have. And also the final mandatory one is minimal setup time. Now what I mean by minimal setup time is making sure that the game itself runs perfectly. Sorry, not running perfectly. It runs quick and doesn't have long loading times. And then for the non-mandatory one, more of a desirable what I would like to have in the game. Firstly, the main one out of those two, the final two, will be the performance and optimizing the game itself. I want the game to run at 60 FPS on mid-range PCs, so that anyone can try out the game, anyone can test it out, and they are guaranteed a certain FPS limit, certain FPS minimum. And then we also have the accessibility options, which at the moment I only have two, which are going to be the rebindable controls, as I plan to have both controller and keyboard working for the final game. I want the player to be able to essentially change all keys to what they would like to make it easier for them to play the game, and also having adjustable audio levels, so being able to change the engine sound, the audio sound, the music sound, the UI sound, so that they can then further enjoy their gameplay. And then for the functional requirements, I do have quite a bit. So essentially all of these are mandatory, except from the boosting system. And most of them are complete, except from 4 of them. So for the completed ones, we have the pod racing mechanics, the physics system, the track system, and the user interface, and the boosting system. They are the ones that are completed. The other 4 are not completed yet, or they are more in progress. So yeah, for the pod racing mechanics, we have the basic controls, the acceleration, braking, and turning. These are all completed. I am personally very happy with how they turned out, which you'll again be able to see in the demo. And soon, when feedback arrives, hopefully everyone else agrees with it, because obviously when you make a game, you're gonna like how you make it, but not other people, unfortunately. The physics system is completed, but I do think it needs just a smidge bit more work, because obviously, let's say when you're racing, you hit a like one of the fences, which I think in the demo is visible. you kind of hit it and then you can't get out essentially, which I do believe when training AI will cause issues. If they hit it, they'll get stuck quite a bit. And then the track system, so we have one track completed as bare minimum, which again I'm very happy with. It just needs some updating, as in adding the backgrounds, so like buildings, NPCs, etc. Then we have the user interface, which is the basic HUD and the main menus. So as this is a prototype, they are very basic, and same with the main menu. There is only two options in the main menu, which are quit and play game. Eventually that will be changed, so will have a settings as well, so you can change the audio, the window size, and as I do plan to put this on other websites like itch.io, I want it to be able so that you can pick the AI difficulty you would like to have. Then we also have the boosting system, which I'm very happy with. Essentially just boost the player speed, and that is literally it. So for the ones that are in progress still, the lap system and personal best system, yes. So the lap system, it is complete, but then again, I do believe it needs some work because sometimes it can mess up. So there are a few bugs that I need to iron out. Same with the personal best system. In the demo, I did not realize, however, it was constantly stuck at 2.4 seconds, which I'm going to get sorted. Yes, those are the two. Oh, wait, and then now that the main game is essentially finished, the main like core game aspects, we will begin training AIs, which will basically train the AI and make it so they can change their performance over time depending on the player. So for the system architecture overview, we have three things that we're looking at. Mainly how the system components all work together, to ensure that all the core functionalities in here are all met, and ensure that the game itself is just a smooth racing performance, and that the user experience when they play the game, they are happy, they enjoy it. If they're not happy, we fix it up. Okay, so for the high-level architecture, so the key elements in this is the user interface, the physics engine, the game logic, and the graphics and rendering. Rendering and graphics. So for the user interface, we have a few things. We have the menus, so the pause menu and the regular menu, the UI, and the racing stats, which can be seen when you're playing the game. So you have the lap timer, the best time, current time, and your speed. And then when we head to the game logic, this manages all the gameplay, the boosting system, the lap track system, the personal best timers, and the pod racing mechanics. And then we head to the left, which is the physics engine. This one handles the movements on the track, so if we were to add collisions, make sure the player goes over or around it, and also so it interacts with the track itself. So if, let's say, it hits a wall, it stops, or it will bounce off, and the player loses control. And then for the rendering and graphics, we have essentially making sure. So for the rendering and graphics, we have to make sure that we're using assets that allow us to not slow the game. So that is the layer that will help us ensure smooth performance. So when it comes to the simplified game UI state machine, we have the main menu, the main menu play and quit game in the main menu, and then when you press play, you have the option to use the pause menu by pressing escape, which then also has three options, which is resume, go back to the menu, or quit the game. And now for our updated time schedule. So this is our current updated time schedule. We are slightly behind on some things from what I can see, mainly towards when you come towards the bottom, as already I am meant to have started initial feedback and drafting the AI opponent requirements, but everything else is completed on here. We have the initial planning and research that's done. The early development is 50% done. Yes, because we have not added sound, and these two are not working. So yeah, we're about 80% done. Just the formula for these two are not working properly, which will be updated after this recording. Yes, this is updated Gantt chart essentially. Yeah. And now for our next stages, we have to, the plan is to now update all the menus with better assets, as they lack any looking nice aspect. They're kind of just white. And I would like to add more functionality as I talked about before, which will be the pause menu, the setting menus in both the main menu and pause menu, where you can change the level, the AI level, and also sounds and the window aspects. And then for the environment, I would like to add more assets into the game. So I'm gonna essentially add more like NPCs, buildings, maybe a different light system, we'll see. And then for the character customization, the asset pack I'm using has the ships in parts, so I can allow the player to, from the main, when they press play, they can customize their character, and then in the game they will have that exact same character. That one will be done probably next, and then the final one is going to be the AI training. So I need to train the AIs to make sure that they go around the track, and then as the player plays and gets better scores, there will be different levels. Essentially, let's say like 5 levels. Level 5 is the slowest, level 1 is the highest. So if, let's say, the average time for a player to do the track is 45 seconds, if the player, let's say, hit 40, it will go to level 4, and etc. That is my presentation completed. Thank you for watching my video, and have a lovely day.